What's going on, guys? Welcome back, and today I'm going to be giving my quick thoughts on the new show on Disney Plus called Monsters at Work, which is obviously connected to the Monsters, Inc. film franchise under Pixar, and I thought it was going to be like another prequel to the original Monsters, Inc. film, but it's actually a sequel to the original Monsters, Inc. film following the events of that film. But it does kind of tie into the Monsters University film as well, like their reappearing characters and stuff, which I liked, you know? I like that it feels kind of consistent with all those movies, and it does what I like in sequels. Like, for an example, in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, they almost over-relied on the original trilogy for nostalgia's sake. And they almost entirely ignored the prequels, which I didn't like as a prequel fan. But what The Mandalorian did as a series was it acknowledged both and made a good story out of both, combining characters and elements from both trilogies. That's what I really liked about The Mandalorian, and that's what I like about this show, is that it acknowledges Monsters University and Monsters, Inc., and it pulls from both of it. Like, Mike and Silly talk about their experiences that they had in university and stuff like that, and characters reappear, you know? I really like that, so it kind of does what I like about sequels. And Mike and Sully, you know, it's great to hear John Goodman and Billy Crystal back as those characters, but it doesn't rely on them too much. They aren't really the focus, because their characters' journeys have kind of come to a close by the end of Monsters, Inc., so they're just there to be kind of like fluff, like the cherry on top, so to speak. The main kind of plot is this new guy, Tyler Tuskman or something, I believe is his name. He shows up at Monsters, Inc., and he intends to be a scarer, having previously graduated from Monsters University. But, obviously, once again, following the events of the original Monsters, Inc. film, at the end of that film, they decide to change from being scarers to, like, jokesters or whatever. And they are going to farm energy by making kids laugh and not making them scream and frighten them. So he doesn't feel like he's cut out for this. He felt like he was misled, so he ends up kind of thrown in with basically like the janitors or like the maintenance crew of Monsters, Inc. And they're kind of like weird characters. Kelly Marie Tran is like this weird like yellow and orange fluffy blob monster. And there's like a couple other characters. They're kind of entertaining. At first, I found them a little bit irritating. Like, they were almost, like, so weird that they got grating. But, you know, getting into, like, the later episodes, there are only 4 episodes currently. I don't know how many there are going to be, but there are only 4 currently. I believe 2 come out every week, if I'm not mistaken. But there are only 4 currently. And, like, as I was getting into the later episodes, they kind of became a little bit more endearing and enjoyable as characters, and they became a little bit less grating. And I could see what they were going for with them. And it's just like a really entertaining show. There's always humor being flung at you, which means you can never really like stop laughing. It's kind of like a strategy that is used by the Lego movie films. Like, they are so constant and precise with their comedic timing that you never really get like tired or bored by it. You know, it's not going to change your world. You know, it didn't like, I wasn't blown away. Like, I'm actually, you know, you may be surprised to hear this, but I'm one of the people that actually, like, kind of prefers the Monsters University film to Monsters, Inc. And that's just because I think it's kind of more funny, it's more kind of self-aware, and I find kind of the emotional beats almost hit a little bit harder in that one. I'd have to rewatch them again. It's been a little while since I watched them, but I think that almost the beats hit a little bit better in Monsters University, for me at least. So I like both. I still think Monsters, Inc. is great. I just slightly prefer Monsters University. I feel like Monsters, Inc. is probably a better film, though, objectively speaking. But yeah, I enjoy the show. It's not going to change your worldview. It's just designed to entertain, and it has the original cast back, which is just a nice bonus. It's entertaining. You know, it's fun. I had no expectations. I didn't even know this was coming out. I didn't see a trailer, and I just saw it pop up on my Disney Plus subscription. I was like, oh, this is a thing? There's a Monsters University or a Monsters, Inc. show? So I clicked on it, I watched it, and it's fun. You know, it's got kind of surface level characters, but it does have a new cast that's kind of carrying it pretty well, I feel. It does have Mike and Sully in the original cast, but it isn't over reliant on them to the point of, becoming boring. And the humor as well is, once again, they're always throwing humor at you, which keeps it constantly entertaining. But they're also kind of clever enough to avoid falling into the entrapment of kind of cliche babyish humor. There was a moment towards the end of the 4th episode where I thought they were going to rely on kind of babyish humor, but then at the last second they kind of subvert it and turn it into something actually funny. Like, they treat the audience with respect and know that the general audience kind of feels like this type of humor is stupid. So they actually turn it on its head and make it something funny. I really appreciate that. There's something that I appreciate about that. And yeah, it's just designed to entertain, It kind of goes for emotional beats. It doesn't really hit with them as hard as, like, the original movies, because they're very surface level. Like, they're kind of the cardboard cutout, stereotypical, like, character, like, mistakes and, part of a team, like, gotta be there for each other, like, it's hitting, like, stereotypical beats that these shows hit. But there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. It's just fun. It's just a nice, enjoyable kind of slice of life for the Monsters, Inc. franchise. I guess kind of the weakest part is that it is kind of repeating the beats of Monsters University with, you got, like, the new guy, and then he throws in with kind of this kind of group of misfits. They don't get along at first, but then they kind of end up becoming friends along the way. It's kind of the same thing, just with different characters. Although I never really found the original characters irritating. I think this show kind of did a better job than Monsters University. If it was trying to make those characters irritating, it does a better job of making them really irritating at first, and then kind of making them more endearing and fun to watch. But it is kind of repeating that formula, just, I guess, later on in the timeline of the franchise, because it's after the original movie and it's still not a prequel. So I was pleasantly surprised by this show. It's not going to change your world, but, if I want to put on something kind of light and fun, I'll put it on. I'll watch it, So I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it. I'm not going to, like, be an avid, like, reviewer of this like I am of The Bad Batch. I'm not going to be talking about it every week whenever new episodes release. I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts on it. Just kind of give my thoughts out there. So, I would recommend it. If you like Pixar, if you like the Monsters, Inc. movies like I do, I think you should give it a watch. Because, if you just want something light and just fun, watchable stuff, pretty cleverly written, kind of like sketches almost, I think you'll enjoy it. It's pretty fun. It's like I said, nothing super special, but it's enjoyable. I like it so far, and I will continue watching it. It's fun. So that's pretty much it for my thoughts on Monsters at Work. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Just, once again, whatever your thoughts are, please let me know them all in the comments below. And of course, as always, I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.